The Apostle John and the seven thunders of Revelation 10 verse 4. The mystery that the church cannot reveal. Something has been hidden from us. Not by chance. Not by oversight. But because we were not meant to know. At least, not yet. In the book of Revelation, John witnessed something no one else had ever seen. He heard seven thunders roaring, words that contained a forbidden secret. As he reached for his parchment to write them down, a mighty voice from heaven declared, "Do not write this. Seal these words." Revelation is a book of revelations. It unveils the fate of the world, the antichrist, God's judgments, and the Great Tribulation. But for some reason, these seven thunders were silenced. Why? What did John hear that was so shocking that it had to be erased from history? Was this revelation so astonishing that it could change everything we know about the end times? Or is this message still meant to be revealed at the right time? And what if this secret is already unfolding in the world today? What if the thunders are already echoing, but no one has realized it yet? Before we continue, if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe now to the channel, like this video, and comment your amen. We want to know what you think about this mystery. Because today, we will dive into the greatest unwritten secret of the Bible. The seven thunders. The hidden code of Revelation. The question is no longer, what was said? But rather, when will this prophecy be revealed? And more importantly, will we be ready when it happens? Let's begin. The mystery of the seven thunders. What did John see, and why was he forbidden to write it? Imagine standing before a secret so great that it cannot be told. The Apostle John had this experience. In his vision of Revelation, he heard seven thunders that spoke, and just as he prepared to write down their words, a powerful voice interrupted him. "Do not write this." But why? What did John hear that was so shocking? What could be so overwhelming that God himself commanded it to remain secret? This was not a simple detail lost in the book of Revelation. It was knowledge locked away by the Creator himself. John, the one who revealed the seals, the trumpets, the Antichrist, and the fate of humanity, was stopped from recording something crucial. If he could reveal the end times, the final judgment, and the chaos to come, what was it that he could not say? Now, imagine this. The heavens open. The thunders roar like mighty voices, a celestial message vibrating in the air. The earth trembles. The tension is unbearable. What was said? Thunders in the Bible always announce something monumental. When God spoke at Mount Sinai, thunder and lightning engulfed the mountain. In the book of Job, thunders are described as the voice of the Almighty roaring across the heavens. But here, in Revelation 10, what they said was censored. If Revelation unveils the end of times, why would something so important be concealed? Are we looking at a missing piece of this prophetic puzzle? Think carefully. John saw the throne of God, the celestial armies, and the final events of humanity. But before the seven thunders, he received a different order. Seal this. Do not write. What was so shocking that even he, the prophet of Revelation, was forbidden from speaking? Could this change the way we understand Revelation? And what if the thunders weren't just words, but signs of something yet to come? What if they contained a message so devastating that it could shake the faith of the entire world? Revelation speaks of seals being broken, mysteries being revealed at the right time. So, will this secret be exposed one day? And if so, could that time be now? Has anyone throughout history gained access to this information? Are there hidden ancient manuscripts that could reveal the truth? Clues buried within forgotten prophecies? Every time God speaks through thunders in the Bible, something enormous happens. Judgments, wars, transformations. But in Revelation 10, silence. No clue about what was said. Why? Does this mean there is a hidden prophecy inside Revelation itself? Something so terrifying that, if revealed too soon, it could throw the world into panic? And what if the thunders are connected to the trumpets of Revelation? Or worse, to the arrival of something no one expects? Many theologians say the thunders announce the final judgment. But what if they are something even more intriguing? A celestial code hidden in plain sight, one that only those who can interpret it will understand? Maybe John heard a prophecy that can only be understood when the final events begin to unfold. Something that, if revealed before its time, could alter the destiny of humanity itself. And what if some people already knew this secret? Are there lost manuscripts, forbidden books, or hidden messages that contain clues about it? If the thunders are tied to the end times, what exactly were they announcing? An impending destruction? A deception that will overtake the world? Or something that will transform everything we know? John was given the command, "Do not write." What he heard had to remain a secret. But what if this mystery is about to be revealed? If God allowed him to hear it but not write it down, it means this prophecy was reserved for a specific time. And what if that time is now? The world is collapsing. Wars, crises, strange signs in the sky. Events that once seemed impossible are unfolding before our eyes. Could we be on the verge of witnessing the revelation of the seven thunders? But this is not the only mystery. If the thunders were hidden, what about the other divine voices in the Bible? Has God always spoken this way throughout history? Or do these thunders announce something never seen before? This leads us to another question. How have thunders been used as signs of revelation and judgment? If we analyze the scriptures, we'll see that this was not the only time God manifested this way. And that is exactly what we will explore next. Thunders and the voice of God in the Bible. How does God use thunders as signs of judgment and revelation? Thunder is not just a sound. It carries a message. When the voice of God echoes across the heavens, the world trembles. The Old Testament is filled with moments when thunders preceded great events, each marking a turning point in history. At Mount Sinai, lightning tore through the sky, and thunders roared as God delivered the 10 Commandments to Moses. The people, terrified, stepped back. They could not bear to hear the divine voice directly. It became clear, whenever God speaks in thunder, something is about to happen. But God's thunders are not just demonstrations of power. They bring judgment and revelation. In the book of Job, we find the declaration, "God thunders with his voice wondrously, doing great things which we cannot comprehend." Thunder is not merely a deafening noise, it announces something beyond what the eyes can see. When God wanted to display his authority over Pharaoh, plagues struck Egypt, and among them were thunders and hail. The heavens opened, and the thunders carried a warning. Resisting God does not go unpunished. Every time thunders appear in biblical narrative, there is a message behind them. Something needs to be heard. Something must be understood. Now, think about the 7 thunders of Revelation. John heard them but was forbidden to write down what they said. Why? If God's thunders have always carried meaning, what was it about these particular thunders that demanded absolute silence? Revelation does not hide the final events. It speaks of wars, earthquakes, and destruction. But the thunders, those were sealed. This means they were different from anything previously revealed. Was their content so shocking that the world was not ready to know? Or could it be that they could only be understood at the right time? And what if these thunders are a final warning before the ultimate judgment? The Bible shows us that, throughout history, thunders have announced radical changes. In Psalm 29, David describes the voice of the Lord thundering over the waters, breaking cedars, shaking deserts, and striking fear into nations. When Jesus was about to be glorified, a voice came from heaven like thunder, and some thought it was an angel speaking. Once again, we see a pattern. Whenever God's voice echoes as thunder, something important is being revealed. But what if this time, in the 7 thunders of Revelation, the message was different? Something so intense that, if revealed too soon, it could change the course of history itself? Scholars have tried to decode this mystery for centuries. Some believe the 7 thunders bring additional details about the events of the end times. Others suggest they contain words of extreme judgment, so terrifying that even the most faithful would tremble. But there is another possibility. What if the 7 thunders hold a revelation so great that, if known now, humanity would have no choice but to change its destiny? Something that, if revealed, could interfere with the very plans of the apocalypse? What makes this even more intriguing is that, to this day, thunder remains a symbol of divine power. It appears in prophecies, supernatural manifestations, and signs pointing to something greater. In the end times, Will we hear these thunders again? Could they announce the final call before judgment? John heard them and remained silent. But will we hear them too? Is God waiting for the exact moment to let this message echo once more? And what about the 7 trumpets of Revelation? If the thunders carry hidden messages, how do they relate to the signs that have already been revealed? Could the thunders be beyond the trumpets? Or are they somehow connected? If the thunders were silenced and the trumpets were described in detail, there is a mystery here, and it may be much bigger than we ever imagined. The 7 trumpets versus the 7 thunders. What's the difference and why was one hidden? The trumpets were described in detail. The thunders were silenced. This is a warning. Something was deliberately hidden from us. In the book of Revelation, God revealed each trumpet and its impact. The destruction of the earth, the seas, the rivers, the darkness over the sun and the moon, the release of terrifying creatures, and finally, the total collapse of the world as we know it. Each trumpet announced a specific judgment. But the 7 thunders spoke something that John heard, but no one else was allowed to know. The inevitable question is, why? If the trumpets carry judgments that affect all of humanity, why couldn't the thunders be written down? If the thunders had the same function, hiding them wouldn't make sense. This can only mean one thing: they are not like the trumpets. And if they aren't, what exactly do they represent? Here's a detail that few people notice. The trumpets are public announcements, audible warnings to the entire world. But the thunders, these are mysterious voices, spoken only to John. This suggests that the thunders carry a reserved secret, something so powerful that if revealed, it could change the course of humanity before the appointed time. What if the thunders are a lost key within Revelation? Something that connects everything already revealed but must only be discovered at the right moment? This would explain why John heard but couldn't share. The silence surrounding the thunders is not just any omission. It has a purpose. Now, observe another difference. The trumpets have a clear sequence, each one progressively impacting the world. But the thunders appear all at once. There is no counting, no order. They speak, John hears, and then, absolute silence. This means that the thunders do not follow the same pattern of progressive judgment. They are not there to announce a sequence of events, but rather a single hidden truth. The Bible shows us that God uses thunder when He wants to do something grand and definitive. It happened at Sinai. It happened in the Psalms. It happened with Jesus when God's voice echoed, and the people thought it was thunder. But now, in Revelation, something different happens. These thunders were not given to the world but sealed for a specific time. And here's the most important question. Will these thunders still be revealed? If the trumpets have already been clearly described and are part of God's judgments upon the earth, could the thunders be a final secret message before the ultimate end? Perhaps a final warning that will only be understood at the right moment? If the trumpets announce destruction, could the thunders announce something even greater? Something so unbelievable that God chose to keep it hidden until the exact moment? If John was forbidden from writing it down, this means that this revelation is still stored, waiting for the right time to be released. And that moment may be closer than we imagine. After all, if the prophecy is still sealed, that means one day it will be opened. But who will have access to this revelation? Could there already be a hidden code in the Bible that gives us clues? Do ancient manuscripts hide something the church never wanted to reveal? The silence of the thunders still echoes today, but there is an intriguing clue. Some theologians and scholars have been trying to decipher this mystery for centuries. And some of them believe that the answer may be hidden where we least expect it. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next. What do theologians and scholars say? Theories about what these thunders could mean. For centuries, Bible scholars have tried to decipher the 7 thunders of Revelation. What did John hear and could not record? What could be so impactful that God decided to seal this revelation? These questions echo in the minds of theologians, historians, and researchers to this day. And the theories that have emerged over time are as terrifying as they are intriguing. Some scholars believe that the 7 thunders are future events that have yet to be revealed. Something that will only be understood when the prophecy finally unfolds before our eyes. If we look at the Bible, we see that there are mysteries that are only revealed at the right time. This was the case with Daniel, who received a vision of the end times and was instructed to seal the book until the time of the end. This could mean that the thunders carry information that humanity will only be able to understand at the last moment. Other researchers believe that the seven thunders are not events but divine messages that were hidden to protect humanity. Imagine if John had recorded something so frightening that simply reading it could drive people into despair? Something so shocking that it could shake the faith of believers and cause unprecedented chaos? If this is the case, these thunders may contain forbidden information, something that, if revealed too soon, would completely change our perception of God, the apocalypse, and the end times. But there is another, even more disturbing theory. What if the thunders are a hidden code within the scriptures? Some researchers suggest that the thunders could be a lost key, something that can only be understood by those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. This would mean that the message of the thunders is not exactly hidden but rather disguised within the Bible itself. Perhaps in numbers, patterns, word repetitions, or subliminal messages inserted throughout the sacred texts. But how do we find them? How do we decipher something that was intentionally concealed? An even more radical theory suggests that the thunders contain a warning about a great global deception. If the thunders represent the voice of God, do they reveal something about a lie that will be imposed on the world in the last days? Something that, if we knew now, could drastically change our choices? If this hypothesis is correct, the thunders may be related to the greatest deception in human history, something John heard but could not reveal because it wasn't the right time. And what if the thunders are God's final command before the ultimate judgment? Could they be words of destruction, a divine summons, or something completely different? Some scholars argue that the thunders may be the last warning before Christ's return, a heavenly call that only those who are spiritually prepared will understand. This would explain why John heard but could not write, because this message is not for everyone, but only for those chosen to understand it at the right time. But there is something even more mysterious. Some apocryphal manuscripts suggest that there were prophecies that were deliberately removed from the Bible over the centuries. Could the thunders be among these lost prophecies? If so, where did they go? And, more importantly, who hid them? What is known is that while the trumpets announce judgment for the entire earth, the thunders speak only to John. This means that their message is something so significant that it could not be revealed to just anyone. But the question remains, has this revelation already been delivered to someone throughout history? Could a secret group, a hidden order, or an ancient civilization have had access to what John heard? If this is true, it could be the greatest theological conspiracy of all time. And more, could the thunders be connected to other forgotten prophecies? Do they appear in some way in other ancient texts that were not included in the Bible? If so, these messages could already be hidden in plain sight, just waiting for someone to finally decipher them. But what would happen if someone truly managed to unlock this secret? The answer may lie within the lost prophecies. Lost prophecies and possible connections. Are there references in other ancient books? What if John's seven thunders were not the only time this revelation appeared in history? What if fragments of this mystery are scattered across forgotten books, erased or deliberately hidden over the centuries? The truth may be concealed in ancient texts that few have accessed, manuscripts considered too dangerous to remain visible. The first clue emerges in apocryphal and pseudepigraphal books, writings that were not included in the official biblical canon but were widely read and debated in ancient times. Some of these texts contain descriptions eerily similar to what John experienced. The Book of Enoch, for instance, speaks of the secrets of thunder and celestial voices that only the righteous can comprehend. Enoch, a man taken by God without seeing death, described his vision of heaven and mentioned forbidden knowledge that could not be given to ordinary men. Could this be the same secret that John heard? Another intriguing text is the Apocalypse of Ezra, also known as 2 Esdras, a book that speaks of hidden revelations given to certain prophets but meant to remain sealed until the end times. In one passage, Ezra is instructed to write 94 books, but only 24 were to be revealed to the people. The other 70 were to be reserved for the wise in the last days. These lost books supposedly contain answers about humanity's destiny and events that have not yet been fully revealed. Could the seven thunders be among these hidden mysteries? And it doesn't stop there. The Damascus document, found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, mentions a voice from heaven that brings judgment and warnings, understandable only at the appointed time. Similarly, the Testament of Solomon, an apocryphal text describing divine revelations given to King Solomon, references words that cannot be written, and that hold the power to move the heavens and the earth. Why do so many ancient texts speak of messages that cannot be revealed? The book of Daniel itself provides a crucial clue. Daniel received terrifying visions of the future, and at the end of one, God ordered him to seal the book until the time of the end. This implies that certain prophecies would only make sense at the exact moment they were meant to be fulfilled. But the most striking similarity between Daniel and John is that both received heavenly messages that were sealed. John heard the thunders but was forbidden from writing them. Daniel saw the future but was commanded not to reveal certain details. Could these two events be connected? Now, think about this. If these prophecies were hidden for a reason, what would happen if someone deciphered them before the appointed time? Some theologians suggest that clues are scattered throughout the Bible, waiting to be discovered. Others believe that ancient manuscripts, hidden in secret libraries, hold secrets about the apocalypse. Could there be a group that has always known the truth but kept it in secrecy? Who would have access to such forbidden documents? If the seven thunders carry knowledge that humanity is still not ready to comprehend, then perhaps the answer lies within these forgotten texts. And if we look at the signs of the times, could we be approaching the moment when these prophecies will finally be revealed? But there is still one unsettling question. Could these thunders be directly linked to the end times? Are they the final warning before the Great Tribulation? The thunders and the end time. Is there a connection to the Great Tribulation? The signs of the end are already among us. But what if the seven thunders are the last warning before total chaos? Revelation reveals trumpets, seals, and bowls of wrath, each bringing a new stage of destruction upon the earth. But the thunders, they remain a mystery. John heard them, but he was forbidden from writing them. What if that silence is the most important clue of all? The Great Tribulation will be the darkest period in human history. A time when catastrophes will devastate the earth, faith will be tested to its limits, and a massive deception will take hold of the world. But here's something intriguing. Revelation describes in detail what happens when the seals are broken, when the trumpets sound, and when the bowls are poured out. So why were the thunders hidden? What do they announce that even the Bible does not reveal? If we analyze Revelation, we will see that whenever thunder appears, something monumental happens. Revelation 8, before the seventh seal is opened, silence falls over heaven for half an hour. Immediately after, thunder, lightning, and earthquakes mark the beginning of divine judgments. Revelation 11, after the two witnesses are resurrected and taken to heaven, thunder echoes again. Revelation 16, when the heavenly temple is opened, thunder shakes the earth. This means that thunder is always associated with extreme transitions. It signals that something is shifting, that something terrible is about to happen. If the thunders and the tribulation are connected, then perhaps their message is a warning for the last days, something that, if revealed too soon, could alter the course of prophetic events. This would explain why John was forbidden to write it down, because these words cannot be known before the right time. But when is that time? Are we close to finally understanding what these thunders mean? Now, here's a disturbing hypothesis. What if the thunders are God's final call before his full wrath is unleashed? A last warning, an echo from heaven that only those who are spiritually awake will be able to comprehend? The Bible speaks of a period of great deception, where even the elect could be deceived. Could the thunders carry that warning? Something so terrifying that God chose to keep it hidden until the final moments of the apocalypse? Some say that these thunders will only be understood when the Antichrist is fully revealed. Perhaps they describe events so specific that, if known now, they would compromise God's entire plan for the last days. Could the thunders announce the exact moment of Christ's return? Or do they reveal a judgment even more terrifying than what we already know? The silence of these thunders could be the key to understanding the final moments of human history. They were not erased, but sealed. And as we know, seals are meant to be broken at the right moment. When that moment comes, will there be anyone prepared to understand their message? The Great Tribulation will bring deception, despair, and destruction. But if the thunders are part of this scenario, then they may contain the answer to the most feared question. When will everything finally come to an end? And more, have the first thunders already begun to echo without us realizing it? After all, if the thunders are a message reserved for the last days, what exactly will they announce first? The first and second thunder, what could they be announcing? If the seven thunders were silenced, Then each one carries a weight that has yet to be revealed. But what if we could uncover what the first two announced? Could we already be living through the events described in these hidden thunders? Revelation gives us clues. Whenever thunder echoes, something significant happens. But unlike the trumpets and seals, the thunders were muted. What John heard but could not record may have been so impactful that it would change our understanding of the end times. But why exactly 7 thunders? Could each one announce a specific stage of the apocalypse? If we look at the progression of end-time events, it makes sense that the first thunders would bring initial warnings, signs that begin to prepare the world for the final chaos. Could the first thunder have announced the beginning of global deception? Could it mark the start of the great lie that will deceive the nations before the revelation of the Antichrist? The Bible warns us about a period when truth will be distorted, and humanity will be led to believe falsehoods. Is that already happening? Wars, signs in the heavens, the rise of technology imitating miracles, manipulation of faith. Could the first thunder have been the warning that this era of deception has begun? And the second thunder? If the first was a warning, the second may have been confirmation that the world is already under the influence of this great lie. Something invisible, subtle, but devastating, shaping people's thinking without them even realizing it. Could the thunders be announcing the arrival of the major events of the tribulation? If so, are we already hearing echoes of these thunders without recognizing them? Thunders always bring something monumental. If the first two have already sounded and we were not warned, could the next ones be even more impactful? Will it be too late to turn back when the third and fourth thunder roar? The thunders have yet to be explained, but the code of Revelation may be closer to being revealed than we imagine. What if this truth is about to be released? What if we are standing at the threshold of the greatest secret of the book of Revelation? The hidden code of Revelation. Will these thunders still be revealed? The thunders echoed, but were silenced. What John heard remained hidden, sealed, stored for a specific time. But what if that time is about to arrive? What if the thunders are a hidden code, a lost piece of revelation that can only be deciphered when the end is near? The Bible is full of secrets that were only revealed at the right moment. Daniel saw terrifying visions of the future and was ordered to seal them. John heard words that he could not write down. But there is something that few people realize. Sealed mysteries are not forgotten mysteries. They are reserved mysteries, waiting for their appointed time. This means that the thunders will one day be revealed. The question is, when and to whom? Many believe that the code of Revelation is already in front of our eyes, but only those who are spiritually prepared will be able to understand it. Could the thunders be a final warning before the ultimate judgment? Could it be that once this code is revealed, there will be no turning back? Some scholars claim that the thunders are a code hidden within the Bible itself. Certain passages suggest that Scripture contains patterns, encrypted messages, numerical sequences, and symbols that will only make sense at the right time. Could the revelation of the thunders depend on the correct interpretation of these codes? Another hypothesis suggests that the thunders are already being revealed, but no one is paying attention. If they announce events leading up to the end, could the signs have already begun to emerge but are being ignored? The world is facing wars, pandemics, economic collapse, spiritual crises. But what if all of this is just the beginning? What if the thunders are the announcement that the final stage of humanity is about to begin? Revelation was written to be understood by those who are watchful. Jesus said there would be signs in the heavens, on earth, and among people before the end. Could the thunders be part of these signs? And if they bring a revelation so grand that it could completely change our understanding of humanity's final destiny? The silence of the thunders may be on the verge of breaking. If there is a hidden code in Revelation, it will be revealed at the right time, to the right people. But will we be ready to hear this revelation? Will there still be time to change the course of history when the thunders finally speak? If all of this is true, then the question we should be asking is not, when will the thunders be revealed? It's time to look back and ask, what does all of this mean for us? Stop and reflect on your life. See you in the next video. I'm counting on you. What will you do with this revelation? The thunders spoke, and were silenced. But for how long? What John heard is still hidden, but Revelation teaches us an unshakable truth. What is sealed will one day be opened. The question is no longer, what did the thunders say? The question now is, will you be prepared when they are finally revealed? Think about it. If God chose to hide this message, it means it is too great to be understood before its time. But what if that time is already approaching? Can you feel it? The world is changing. Something is happening. Wars, deception, division, signs in the heavens, spiritual crises. Could the thunders already be whispering to those who have ears to hear? And now, what will you do with all of this? Will you continue living as if nothing is happening? Or will you seek the answers for yourself? The Bible has always been filled with mysteries. But one thing is certain. Those who seek the truth will be the ones who are prepared. So tell me, do you feel that something is about to be revealed? Do you see the pieces of this puzzle coming together before our very eyes? Or will it be too late when the thunders finally speak? Leave your comment below. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Will the thunders be heard by everyone, or only by those who are paying attention? And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel now, turn on notifications, and like this video. Together, we will continue unveiling the forgotten secrets of the Bible and revealing truths that many try to hide. What's coming next may be even more surprising. Are you ready for the next mystery? See you in the next episode.